Hey everyone, welcome to Maverick Gill. If you are one of the subscribers to the channel, then thank you so much guys and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, a little bit about me. I left the corporate world a while back because I wanted to spend my time with the family and travel in the world, pursuing my love of travel. So I spent a lot of time on cruise ships in particular, a bit of Disney as well, Florida, which I absolutely love. And I'm trying to get around as much of the world as I possibly can. We've got 7 cruises booked this year. I'm currently packing for the Iona, and a couple of weeks after that I'm on the P&O Arvia. But last week I found myself on an MSC ship. Now, I was very unsure about going on an MSC ship, and some of my cruise pals had told me that I may not enjoy it. But I found myself on the MSC Preziosa, a Northern European cruise with Mrs. G and my 2 teenagers as well. I have 2 older kids who sometimes join us on the travels, but they are busy working as teachers, so they've got quite a lot on. I'm not able to travel outside of the school holidays. So this is my review of the time spent on the MSC Preziosa. One week with MSC in Northern Europe on a cold cruise, which I promised never to do. So I'm going to look at the food, the service, the entertainment, a few of the key main areas, maybe just give you a flavour if you're thinking of going on the ship. And if you've been on the ship, maybe you'll have something to add in the chat. Please do if you think there's something that our viewers should know about the ship. But first, let's talk about the most important thing on any cruise ship, shall we? Particularly for teenagers, and that is the food. So on the MSC, you will find there are 2 main dining restaurants, the Golden Lobster and L'Arabesque, and we were assigned a sitting, which is a bit old-fashioned now, isn't it? Because generally we're freedom dining, dine whenever you want, book whatever time you want. But a bit like Disney, they have 2 sittings in the evening, and we were on the 8:30, there's a 5:30-ish and an 8:30 sitting, and we were generally on the later one, so we could go to the theatre earlier before that. And we were put in the Golden Lobster. Now, the other thing with MSC main dining is that you do get a shared table in most cases. And when they're pretty full, they struggle to find any private tables for parties of 4 and 2. We're a party of 4, and we like to have a private table for various reasons, but that's our preference. So it didn't have that. We were on a shared table. However, if you go and see the restaurant manager in the evening, about half an hour after the sitting is started, they then know whether somebody is going to turn up for their table or not, and they release that table. So we were able to get a private table on the 5 or 6 nights that we dined in the Golden Lobster. And the reason we dined mostly in the Golden Lobster, because actually the food was pretty good. Food was pretty good. It wasn't spectacular, but it was pretty good. Every night I enjoyed the food. There was good variety in there. They gave us extra ice cream. They'll give you extra chips, fries if you ask for that. The service, I couldn't fault it really. The service was quick, efficient. We were on 4 different tables, so we got a good flavour of service around the whole restaurant. And they were really good on every table that we had in the Golden Lobster. And the manager, shout out to Raj, the restaurant manager there, who was an absolute superstar. So thank you, Raj, for looking after us for the whole week. So we really enjoyed the main dining. Definitely recommend that. As I say, if you're a foodie, it isn't as spectacular, but it is good. And it's certainly good value. The buffet. Now, the buffet is interesting. So I'm not a huge fan of buffets generally myself. The kids like the buffets very much. The buffet was huge. In fact, by the time you'd gone round everywhere, I found my food was cold by the time I got back to my seat because I spent so long looking for what I wanted to eat. They cater for a lot of nationalities here, so I think sometimes with the food it gets lost a little bit trying to cater for everybody. But there is a wonderful pizza counter. Is it as good as Princess at Sea? I didn't think so. It is very good, but Princess edges it for me. But the pizza is very good. There's about 8 different types of pizza. It's freshly put out regularly all day and in the evening. And I definitely recommend the pizza. But Princess has it just mind you. That was really good. There's a grill counter, so it's not it's all kind of fresh, it's pre-prepared. So there's burgers in there, beef burgers, chicken burgers, that kind of thing. Now, if you don't like your burger with all the gunk on, which Mrs. G certainly doesn't. One thing to think about here is you can ask for it to be freshly prepared. So we had quite a few plain burgers done for Mrs. G and the kids, and they were brilliant. Just went out the back, prepared a burger for us there and then. So if you're looking at the burgers thinking, oh no, I'd like a burger, but it's covered in gunk, don't worry, just ask them. Really helpful, no problem at all. So that made a difference for me. Previously on the Arvia, I hadn't liked the 360 arrangement where everything is kind of pre-prepared and made up there. But on MSC here, they will happily go out and grill a fresh one for you if you ask. So the buffet has a lot of different options. I mean, the one thing I would say about the buffet is, although it isn't my favourite, you will certainly find something that you will like on there. And of course, being an Italian ship, there's lots of pasta, lots of different continental style dishes. There's juice stations in the morning for breakfast, and there's coffee machine. Okay, the coffee's not great, but you can buy the cappuccinos, your lattes, which if you're a coffee person, which I did, but they do have some instant coffee available all day in the buffet, and there's water, of course, there's water machines and ice as well. So there's plenty for everybody in the buffet. It's certainly big, I'll give you that, and it is a beautiful place to sit actually. Really nice deco in there. And I like the golden lobster. One thing I didn't say is it's a little bit cramped. That's the only thing I would say with the golden lobster. The tables are a bit crammed in. The buffet is a little bit more room. However, breakfast time, you will struggle after about 8:30 to find a table. You will be walking around a good while. We did get a table always, and we were generally there about 9 o'clock. And it was a struggle, but you did get one. In the evening, there wasn't any problems at all, and during the day, it was busy, but you would generally get a table. But it was a bit cold that time of year to take things outside, so in the summer that would be a bit easier. Now there are 3 additional dining options. So there's the Butcher's Cut Steakhouse. This was really popular. People really enjoyed that I spoke to. Went down very well. It isn't cheap, but that went down very well. There's the Galaxy Sushi Restaurant up the top of the ship. And there's the Pizza Restaurant, which, believe it or not, we did end up trying, just for the sake of the channel, of course. No, actually, Mrs. G didn't have much for dinner, so we ended up at about 11 o'clock at night. I think we'd been to the white party. They have this in the evening, one of the evenings there where people wear predominantly white clothes, and we ended up in the pizza place there, downstairs. I think it's about level 6, and the pizza's really nice actually. Was it better than upstairs? It was different to upstairs. So if there's pizza available upstairs, would I pay the difference? Well, it was about €6 or €7. So, yeah, maybe. It's a nice place to sit, actually. It's a lovely little sitting area. And we had a musician on at the time playing in the background as well. So we really enjoyed that. There's also a couple of nice coffee bars, in particular Il Cappuccino. There's like a cafe area in the Phoenician Plaza of the ship. One of the lower decks where you get included cakes, but they also have additional charged ice cream there and additional charged cappuccinos. I think they even do milkshakes as well there. That's a lovely place to sit. So then there's an ice cream place upstairs as well on the Lido deck, which that was a bit. They didn't quite seem to know what they were doing there, but the ice cream did taste quite nice. So you can pay additionally for those things as well. There is a sweet shop, and as you'd expect, it's about €100 for a packet of Smarties. No, it's not quite that bad, but you do pay. It's about €10 for it's a big bag of sweets. But if you really want sweets, they are there. Or you can do what we did and get off at Zeebrugge and go to the mini Carrefour, which is a 10-minute walk, and get your sweet fix there as well, or your crisps and snacks if that's something that you are missing. Entertainment. So, we love the theatre. One of the things we love on the cruise ship is going to the theatre. The theatre on the MSC Preziosa is huge. I mean, it looks massive. Maybe it's not as big as it looks, but it certainly looks huge. I think it is. It's a beautiful theatre. The seats are big. There is plenty of leg room, big theatre stage. And first night we went to the first theatre show, and honestly, I was so disappointed. I didn't enjoy it. I thought, what have we done? This is not good. But the good news is We went every night after that. The circus, I think, was the next night. The family really enjoyed that. And I absolutely loved the theatre performance in the end. Every show, absolutely loved. They performed their hearts out, these guys. I loved the ABBA night they did. I loved the kind of 80s movie themed montage they did with, there was a Back to Future scene, a Rocky scene. The dancers were superb. The two female singers in particular were awesome. But the two male singers were also very good, and the dancers were great. You know, I absolutely love the show. So love the theatre. Real highlight for us was the theatre. It's quite. You do need to get used to the fact that when you go in there, they do open in about the compare. The MC will open in about 6 different languages to welcome people. So you've got a little bit of that because there's many nationalities on this ship, and unlike many of the other ships, they do try to cater for those nationalities. So they'll speak in German, in French, in Spanish, English. You know, it's about 5 or 6 languages that they'll do. It takes a bit of getting used to. It can be a bit of delays at the beginning of the show, just a little bit. But the cruise directors, despite one of them getting ill, Valerio, halfway through, they were very good. I couldn't fault them. Organised that really, really well. They had good personalities, good riz, as they say. Those guys were good. Theatre, definitely get yourself down there. If you love a good live show, they put on some great shows on the Preziosa. The other entertainment around the ship, the kind of the music everywhere. They have trivia, quizzes. The Safari Lounge was super popular. They had a white night in the Safari Lounge, so don't forget to take your white gear to get dressed up. There's also a gala night separate to that as well. Many people don't dress up, so don't be disappointed if you go compared to say a P&O cruise where a lot more people do dress up. They didn't on this one. May have been the nature of the cruise being Northern Europe, 7 nights, people getting on and off the ship. Might have been something to do with that, but many people didn't. Some people did, and if you'd want to, we got dressed up for white night a little bit. We didn't do gala night this time like we normally do, but again, people did. It was quite a relaxed atmosphere on the ship from a dress perspective generally, and it was a good atmosphere as well. There was musical acts around the ship all the time. There's things going on all day. Even on port days, they had things going on all day. So certainly plenty to do if you like a bit of dancing, you like doing the quizzes. The only thing I would say that, so leaning into now the kids clubs. The kids clubs, in the words of our kids, were non-existent. They went up there and they kind of grouped everybody together. They made it a small area. There wasn't a lot going on. Maybe because they didn't have many kids on the ship at first, we thought, but actually we think there were quite a few kids on the ship. But no, didn't like it. Compared to P&O, you'd be really disappointed if you're going for the kids club on this cruise. Maybe it's different in the summer months. Perhaps somebody in the chat who's been on the Preziosa in the summer could let me know. But yeah, that was a bit disappointing. They do have table football. They do have table tennis, which we enjoyed. We played a fair bit of that, and that leads me to the swimming pools, because the table football and table tennis are in this beautiful little mini Centre Parks area, we called it, mainly because it looked at a kind of the glass roof, lots of greenery in there. There's a coffee bar and a bar, some lovely tables to sit at, where you know, on a busy day you will need to get in there early. You can take your buffet food in there as well, but it is quite a walk to the buffet to get back to this end of the Lido area. But we enjoyed it in there. It's lovely and warm. The pool in there is a saltwater pool, which when I first got in, I thought was had one of those suites in Willy Wonka's factory. It makes you take off. It's so buoyant. So if you're a weak swimmer, you're going to love it. I think I did about 50 lengths in there. So it was a nice pool. The pools outside were too cold to use at this time of year, but all the pools were quite big. There's plenty of hot tubs, and there's an adult area as well you can go into. There's the spa area too, if you want to use the thermal spas, the saunas, the steam rooms, and of course all the treatment that comes with that as well. And there is a gym in there too, if you're going to find the time for that. I did manage to get to the gym 2 or 3 times. I think you can use it from age 13 as well if you sign a waiver. So if you have some teenagers that want to go in with you, like mine did, then you can do that too. And it's a big gym, big fitness centre, so plenty to do in there as well. Did I mention the Formula One simulator? There's also a Formula One simulator on the ship. How crazy is that? Kids did that, loved it. We are Diamond members, so we actually got it for free. I think it's about 11 euros a go, something around that if you didn't. And there's also a 4D simulator, which they call a cinema. It's not really a cinema. It has a big screen, but it is for kind of 4D simulation virtual games. So you can go on a pretend roller coaster. And that was really good. That was about 6-7 euros. And we enjoyed that too. And it has about 10 seats in there. So if you're a large family, there's plenty of room for you to all get in together. Service and staff around the ship. Okay, I'm going to touch on this now because I've seen some mixed reviews really, but I can only go on my experience, our experience on the Preziosa. The service in the main dining, as I've said, was absolutely superb. Can't fault it at all. Really good and super friendly. And you find if you make the effort with them, there's good connection. Staff seemed quite happy. The officers were quite front and centre. They came out in the atrium. My daughter has pictures with them. They came out to welcome people. They were out quite regularly, having kind of face-to-faces. They also came onto the stage in the theatre to introduce themselves, which was a nice little touch as well. That was a bit Disney-esque for me. I love that on Disney, the way the senior staff are always available and always out there. So they did a little bit of that on MSC. So I like that. Staff generally around the ship were friendly and helpful. No problem at all. So that was really good. They all had a smile on their faces. Anyway, actually, funnily enough, it was only guest services that I found a little bit off at times. And when we had a couple of mistakes on the bill, oh my goodness, it took us about 3 days to get that rectified. It was like pulling nails out of a stone with your teeth, but we did get there. But apart from that, generally, it was a tick for the staff and the service around the ship. So I hope you experienced that too. There were 4 main port visits on the Northern European cruise, and they were Hamburg, Bruges, which is Zeebrugge, the Rotterdam and Le Havre. Now, we had a ship engine failure, which meant that we had to turn back and we didn't get to go to Rotterdam, which was the one we were really looking forward to. You can walk off at Rotterdam, you can get onto little water shuttle boats, and it's a beautiful beautiful place in the Netherlands to visit. So disappointed we didn't get to view that, but it was just one of those things. At Hamburg, we ended up having 2 days there. You can get a taxi or a shuttle from the ship into the city, and in Bruges or Zeebrugge, you can get off at Zeebrugge, you can walk around. There's a mini car fair you can go to. Oh, there's a thrift shop we found ourselves into, believe it or not. There's a little marina area there. Apart from that, there isn't that much else in Zeebrugge itself. But it's the main stop to either go on a short shuttle ride or taxi to Blankenberg, where you can then get the train in about 5 minutes for a few euros to Bruges, which is a beautiful town in Belgium. And so that's well worth a visit. And in Le Havre, you can walk off at Le Havre. We did. It took us about 15 minutes to walk into the centre of Le Havre. It's a nice frontage to walk along. There are some shops there. There's some monuments. There's a famous sculpture which looks like a Lego structure. But of course, it is the main stop for people getting on excursions to Paris. But don't forget, Paris is about 3 hours drive from Le Havre. So if you're thinking of doing that on your own, this is one I would definitely recommend. Do it with the cruise company, because then they will guarantee that you get back to the ship. If you take the risk and you get yourself a train down or your own driver, you're only going to have a few hours in Paris, by the way, with the timings. And if you're late, and we did see a couple of runners at Le Havre, then they're not going to necessarily wait for you, so it's worth booking with the cruise company. Of course, you can also do excursions here to Normandy, to the Mont Saint Michel, and also to the D-Day landing beaches as well. So it's a very interesting area to go to. The ship itself is a attractive looking ship. We found the deco inside, some Mediterranean theme, was really nice. cabins were a little bit dated, and I understand it is going into dry dock in the next couple of weeks too, and one of the things they are doing is the cabins. They were a bit rough around the edges. It was a nice cabin. They upgraded us to a balcony cabin from an inside, so I can't really complain about that. We had a lovely sofa, nice big bed, we were all pretty comfortable. Balcony was okay, but it did need a bit of refurbishment, and I believe it's getting that. The rest of the ship looked lovely. Love the decor, love the Mediterranean theme. Holds about 3,500 passengers, or if it's a kind of full capacity, up to 4,300 passengers, and about 1,500 crew. So it's a decent sized ship. It's it's bigger than a Regal Princess. It's kind of in the mid range now, I would say, with your Arvias and your Ionas holding 5,000, your Icon of the Seas holding 7,000 plus. So it's probably a mid range now. It's what used to be a large ship. Didn't feel too large when we were on it. Really good ambience. And I said I did enjoy the Mediterranean theme, particularly the Phoenician Plaza, which is a lovely place to sit. And there were a lot of bars and areas that you could sit in. One favourite for people for karaoke was the Green Sax and the Safari Lounge, where there was a lot of trivias on, and some of the parties as well. The only thing is the venues in the evening could have been a bit bigger. They were quite popular, some of them, and particularly the Safari Lounge, you did struggle to get a seat in there at times. Oh, one thing I should mention is if you are a smoker or a vapor, you will love this ship. If you're not, it might cause you some concern. So I'm just going to say there are large smoking areas all over the ship, including in the casino, which does seep out to the other bars and places around there as well. Let me tell you about embarkation and disembarkation. So this is a bit different on an MSC ship because you are getting on and off at all the major ports. So you could have hundreds of people coming on in somewhere like Hamburg, and likewise getting off. So it's a bit different to a lot of the cruises you may go on with people like P&O in particular, where this doesn't happen in the UK, and many of the other cruise ships around the world, but it is very much an on and off case with MSC. Did that cause an issue? Absolutely not. They handled it brilliantly as far as I could see. In fact, our embarkation at Southampton, it took us from parking the car to getting on the ship, I don't know, it was 10 minutes. It was unbelievable. And there were a fair few people that got on. We were on the ship before 11 a.m. on the Preziosa, enjoying a drink and something to eat. So couldn't fault that. And it was a really friendly welcome as well. And that included me leaving the passports in the car. I've never done that before. I had to leg it back through security, come back in. So they couldn't fault that. And disembarkation, that was so easy. We went down, had a lovely breakfast, and then we just walked off the ship at our appointed time and collected our bags, which took, if you see my other vlog, you'll see how easy it was. Took a couple of minutes to get the bags. So disembarkation with MSC was literally a 10 out of 10. Couldn't fault it at all. It's the best embarkation and disembarkation we've had. And we had a couple of really bad ones on my beloved Disney back in October time, and also on the Caribbean Princess. That was really awful that we did in September, which was an absolute debacle. But this one was superb. So hopefully they get it like that every time. So I'm just going to summarise. Before that, guys, if you are able to and you want to, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Always love getting new subscribers. We are going on the Iona and the Arvia in the next month, and I'll be reviewing all of that and vlogs from the ship, live vlogs from the ship. And after that, we're off. We've got a Disney cruise and a Princess on the Sky Princess as well over in the Bahamas. So got quite a bit coming. And in between all of that, if you like UK holidays, we're going to Butlins for a week as well, because I've been told I've got to check it out. So some great fun stuff going up. But in summary, if you're thinking of going on the Preziosa, we found it for the week we had good value. We paid £800 for an inside cabin for 4 people, including our two teenagers. They upgraded us to a balcony cabin. There were a lot of balcony cabins on the ship, so there's a fair chance that could happen for you. So that was great. So we got excellent value, we thought, for that. I didn't have too much to complain about. I was really worried going on the MSC cruise. And other thing is, they made us diamond members because we're elite loyalty members with Princess. They matched that for us. There is a matching scheme. So if you have a loyalty tier with another cruise line, you can ask MSC to match that for you. In our case, that was up to diamond level, which gave us some pretty cool benefits. We got an hour in the thermal spa, albeit it was just a sauna and a steam room, but it was still fun. We got to go on the simulator. We've got some gifts as well and some champagne. So it was quite nice. So if you have got that, think about doing that as well. Overall, it was a good value week. It was a fun week. They looked after us. When something went wrong, they gave us £150 compensation for missing that port that came as onboard credit. They did that pretty quickly for us. It wasn't communicated very well, I have to say, but they did it. So that was good. We really felt looked after on the ship. And for a cold weather cruise, which again, I had said after the Caribbean Princess, check that vlog out, by the way. It's just how cold it was up in the Arctic. And I would never do one again. But it was good. We enjoyed it. We had a really nice week. And I'm really looking forward to now comparing that to the Iona, albeit we're going to the warmer weather of the Canaries this next week. But I'm looking forward to comparing the two because they're similar, not similar sized ships. A similar model, if you like, in terms of value, what I call value cruising. So if you're going on the Preziosa, you can look forward to it. I think you'll enjoy it. But if you have any comments, leave them in the chat. I always reply. So have a great day, guys, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to the channel. Hope you subscribe and join the community. We've also got Facebook site, TikTok, so you can check all of that out. Anyway, take care. Talk to you soon.